Most agency owners don't have a lead problem, they have a system problem. You probably have amazing client testimonials, great service delivery, yet you have inconsistent qualified leads coming into your system every single day. If that sounds like the exact problem you're having with your agency right now, this video is for you. These are the 7 things you need to build a client getting outbound system that gets you leads every single week. So I'm going to walk through all 7 for you in order, just so you don't get confused, so you know exactly what to build and how to build it. I like to think of an outbound system as an airplane. You have to have the wings, cockpit, engine, landing gear, tech, etc., right? Otherwise, you don't have a plane and it falls or doesn't even take off in the first place. Same thing with your outbound system. First thing you're going to need, a scheduling system. Obviously, you need a place where you can actually book calls. Your outbound system is pointless if someone can't book instantly, right? Literally all you need is a Calendly. I've been using this for many years. It's super consistent. Never had anyone have any problems. Super important that most people miss when they set up a Calendly. You need to set up reminders. If you don't set up reminders and automations before the call, after the call, right when they're booked, you're going to get a very low show up rate. So if you guys want to see another video, I can make a video on exactly the automations and everything I set up. Also, qualifying questions, super important. If you don't have qualifying questions, you're going to be calling unqualified leads. Next most important thing, your outbound platform. Pretty obvious here. You need to pick one platform to master. So many people I've seen try to do everything at once. They try to do email, DMs, LinkedIn, calls all at once, and it doesn't work. My recommendation, and it's worked for me, is to dial in one form of outbound on one platform, lock it in, and that's going to be the best route for you. So start with the platform your niche lives on. Super important. I kind of made a little chart here of what I have experienced over 5 years of running an agency. So for SMS, this is going to mainly be like gyms, med spas, appointment-based businesses. For LinkedIn, B2B service providers, high ticket professionals, think like accountants and stuff like that. Facebook, local service businesses, and then community-based companies, anything like lawn mowers, landscaping, anything like that. Instagram, everyone knows, coaches and creators, and then like beauty and aesthetics is super overlooked, but that's where the best place to find them, definitely on Instagram. And then email, I'd say e-com brands, software agencies, and then professional services, and then cold calling, obviously, home services, real estate professionals, and really any local service business. Obviously, you can find a bunch of phone numbers on Google Business Profiles, and obviously you can start calling. So what do? I use majority of the time for my agencies, I use Instagram. Very efficient for finding potential customers for the niche that my agencies are. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we go down here. Next thing you're going to need is the scripting and messaging. If you're doing cold calling, your cold calling scripts. If you're doing cold DMs, what are you saying for the first message? If you're doing cold SMS, what's your script for that? This is exactly what you say, right? Your scripts, your DM frameworks, like I said, Loom templates, your presentation, and obviously the big one that I use with my agencies is video sales assets. This is my specialty. So outbound works when your first message is strong, not when you send 500 bad ones. It's super important, guys. You're better off sending 25 really good outbound intro messages, calls, whatever it is, instead of sending 500 or calling 500 people and it going terribly. Next thing you're going to need is your CRM. Do not overcomplicate this. I've been using Google Sheets for like 5 years. It works amazing. I've never changed. You need a simple way to track who you've messaged, who's replied, who you're following up with, etc. Right? Like I said, don't overcomplicate it. You need consistency, not complication. Trust me, I've tried a bunch of CRMs. It's way easier to use Google Sheets. Next thing, lead sources. Obviously, if you don't have a lead source, you can't even start. This is where your prospects actually come from. You need a sales navigator, Google Maps, like I said, Google Business Profiles, hiring a VA off of like Upwork to help you actually get these leads. You really got to find whatever niche you're working with and what's going to be the best fit. Because like I said, just like choosing outbound platform, you got to choose your lead source. I recommend obviously choosing a lead source that matches up with the outbound platform you're going to be using. Okay, so remember the system dies the moment your lead sources dry up. So you're going to want to get a lot of leads just to start. And one thing I want to tell you guys, the volume you actually have to do in order to get a bunch of clients is going to be a lot more than you probably expect. Hormozy always says this super well. The volume that it takes to see success is 10 times higher than you'd actually think. Next thing, tracking the metrics. This is so important. And this is the one thing I struggled with when I started out like 4 or 5 years ago, was not tracking my metrics. So I was kind of like blindly going into things and not really paying attention to what was working and what wasn't. So super important. Metrics tell you where your system is breaking, where it's working. Is there a problem in your messaging? Is it your lead quality? Is it your show up rate? You need to track your core metrics, and the system basically fixes itself, right? Some things I like to track. If you send a message, what's the reply rate? If they reply, are they booked? If they're booked, do they show up? If they show up, are they closed or no? And then obviously, what sort of follow-up systems are working and everything in between. Then we have your delivery system. This is the tool that sends your outreach. Simple as that. Could be Instantly, Smart Lead, Apollo, or it's your phone if you're doing Instagram DMs or LinkedIn DMs. Now, the most important step out of all this that's not on here, it's an extra step. Once you're seeing good results, build a team to do the heavy lifting. You don't want to be doing all the cold DMs. You don't want to be doing all the cold calling. You don't want to be doing all the cold SMS. When you're actually making money, you want to be focusing on the service delivery, not getting the leads. But you don't know how to get the leads until you try yourself, which means you can't train anyone until you're successful yourself. The main thing that I do is Instagram outbound, obviously through, content systems, video sales assets, etc. If you want me to build your entire Instagram outreach system for you, train your VAs, give you setters and closers, install scripts into your system, fix your calendar with qualifying questions, and build everything in between, just message me on Instagram. I'm happy to help you out. Hopefully this video was actually helpful for you guys. Like I said, there's only a few different ways you can actually get leads for your agency. Outbound messaging is one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion. I've been doing it for years, and that's the way I've been able to scale to the numbers that I have. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, like I said, don't be scared to reach out to me on Instagram. I'd be happy to answer any of the questions you have on there. I'll see you in the next one.